Flight Risk, released January 24th, 2025. Directed by Mel Gibson. Written by Jared Rosenberg. Starring Michelle Dockery, Mark Wahlberg, and Topher Grace. Rotten Tomatoes score, 21%. Metacritic, 38. IMDb, 5.7. MPA rating R. Before I forget, thank you so much for the 100 subscribers. I know it isn't a lot, but it means so much to me. I appreciate each and every one of you and look forward to the channel growing more in the coming year. On to the show. Welcome back to Real Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today we are talking about the newest Mel Gibson movie, Flight Risk. As you might have noticed, critics and fans alike don't really seem to be impressed with this movie. But let's talk about it. So this movie is a bit of a puzzling case. It is a cheap movie coming in at a $10 million budget. There are some obvious parts of this movie that really show that. There are no effects except I am guessing a green screen stage. All but a few minutes of this movie happen inside of a small plane, maybe 6 feet across and 15 to 20 feet long. Again, probably 80 of the 90 minutes happen in this space. This certainly saved them a lot of money, but it also makes the movie pretty boring to look at. The acting in this movie is not bad at all. You only really get Michelle, Mark, and Topher acting. Anyone else we only hear via phone calls, and they are all great. Especially Maz Ali, who plays Hassan. This is a movie that needed great acting and a great story, but it only has good acting and a bare-bones story. I will talk about the story in the spoilers section, but it feels like it was just a page long of bullet points that they never developed. Michelle does a great job as Madeline, the U.S. Marshal. I haven't seen anything that she has been in, but given that she has over 50 episodes on Downton Abbey, I can be confident that she has a lot of talent. I think she shows a pretty good range here. Rage, guilt, regret, etc. She even seems to be pretty decent in the physicality of her role. Also, I will mention when you are in such a small space that if you aren't sitting you have to be hunched over, it is naturally more physical than the average role. Topher Grace's Winston is also pretty enjoyable, but he also feels like every other role that Topher has done, the kind of whiny nerdy character. So if you hate him in that 70s show, you will find him irritating here. Mark Wahlberg as Daryl is weird. So he is the bad guy, but he is fairly quickly reduced to a background character with a few extra moments of importance. He tries his hardest, but he comes off as so goofy. Also, the first accent he uses is so bad that I was worried I would have to deal with it for the whole movie, but it was just him faking, which goes away within about 20 to 30 minutes. This movie is short at around 90 minutes long. It shouldn't feel drawn out. It shouldn't feel boring, but it does. Again, part of this is because it is all filmed in this tiny space, and for most of it the camera is just steady at the front of the plane. I think part of the length of the movie is that the flight is supposed to be 90 minutes long, and they want us to feel the whole entire flight with the characters, but it was not great. They could have just switched scenes to other characters when on the phone to help it feel better. Heck, in a few scenes they could have made them more interesting by us not being able to see what is happening until it swaps back and we just get the aftermath. So next up is spoilers. If you're stopping here, you may have already gathered that I didn't like it. If you haven't seen the movie yet and want to come back later, save the video and come back for the rest. So this story is very simple. Madeline arrests Winston, who then agrees to flip on his former boss. Then they get on a plane from where Winston was hiding, which seems to be kind of the middle of nowhere, Alaska, to Anchorage to get to federal court in New York. Daryl is a hitman, hired to get rid of Winston and Madeline before they get to their destination. He off-screen killed the real pilot, so he can fly them to some abandoned airfield to do the job. So them stopping him is the whole entire ordeal, and aside from him breaking free twice, really all he does is throw insults and try to get under their skin, which they never seem to even care. Another bit of the story is Madeline trying to figure out how their mission was compromised, which is mostly done through phone calls. This was probably the most interesting bit, because again Daryl isn't actually a threat for most of the movie. He initially tries to subdue Madeline, but she uses a taser him to the point she leaves a burned patch on his neck. Then later he breaks free, stabs Winston, and tries to strangle her, but Winston stops it by using the knife. Then basically at the end Daryl breaks free of handcuffs by breaking his thumb and almost tearing off the skin from his hand, but it is resolved in like 30 seconds. And hooray, they land, and this bit of story is concluded, but literally nothing else is. The story is just a nothing, with these few quick action scenes. So I really wouldn't recommend paying extra to see this movie. Streaming, sure, it is a fine waste of 90 minutes. I gave it a 4 out of 8 or 5 out of 10 stars. So much of this movie just doesn't work. And to think that Mark Wahlberg shaved the middle portion of his head daily to look like he is balding. This movie might hit its budget of $10 million, but I don't think that it will clear double that to make money. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more videos like this. I tend to have at least 2 videos out per week, real reviews like this or AI reviews depending on releases. Until next time.